everyone, my name is Anna and I'm the owner of Savvy Cat Realty, and today I'm here to talk to you about the city of Viseu. For those of you who don't know, Savvy Cat Realty is a relocation and investment agency that works from a lifestyle perspective and helps expats relocate to Portugal in a sustainable way, both economically and culturally. We like to help integrate into the local culture and also help make an informed decision and not overpay, something that is important for both the expats and the locals that don't want the prices being inflated. So today's topic, Viseu. Viseu is a city in the center of Portugal. It takes about 1.5 hours to go to Porto through the highway. There is definitely highway accesses. It is a bit further away from Lisbon at about 3 hours. It's not a city where you have a lot of public transportation options. It is possible to go to by public transportation, but it won't be a wide range of options like when you are on the main train line in Portugal. So that's the one that goes from Braga all the way down to Faro. So Viseu is a very interesting city on account of its affordability and also the quality of life it can provide. It's come to be known as the Garden City of Portugal because the local mayor has invested a lot in creating gardens in the city, and so it has a lot of green spaces, which is of course very positive. It is also a city with a very interesting mix of traditional old buildings and more modern construction, and you will have a high amount of monuments and cultural installations here, like museums, and a lot of very beautiful picturesque streets that you can just beautifully enjoy. It also has a market that was redesigned by the famous Portuguese architect César Vieira in the center of the city. And it has some very old buildings, like for example in the Rua Direita, which is one of the main historic streets. It still has Manuelina windows from, if I'm not mistaken, the 16th century. So as you can understand, it is a city full of history, and like I said, it is also extremely interesting because it is very affordable. This is, like I was saying, a city in the center of Portugal, therefore it does have water, but it's not near a river or the ocean at all. And the prices in Viseu for purchase, it can go between 1,000 and 2,500 per square meter, and for rent they are currently at about 10 euro per square meter. So as you can understand, this is a very interestingly affording city, which especially the car connections are pretty good. So 1 hour to Aveiro, 1.5 hours to Porto, that's very decent connection times, but it does have a bit of everything. It also has the big shopping malls, it has a lot of beautiful gardens, a lot of beautiful architecture, a lot of beautiful culture, and it's actually also a very lively city. And you will find nightlife and a lot of restaurants and bars and very good food at very affordable prices. I visited this city as part of my EN2 route, and it is obviously going down through it, and it goes down through the middle of Portugal. And I had a great time here in Viseu. The hotel was fairly affordable. I believe it was on the about 100 euros per night range, and it was quite a nice room. And we had meals between 10 euros per person and 20 euros per person, if I'm not mistaken, and we did eat at some very fancy places. So one of them at least was fancy. So the food here is high quality and very affordable, and the city is very pleasant. It's very pleasant to walk in, with a good mix of nature, architecture, old architecture. There is not a lot of new construction, and the city does spread out a bit, and it's also a university city with the university area, where it is the area where you see the most modern construction. There is also, of course, the typical scandals from the Portuguese cities, which is the very old historical buildings that were taken down to construct not so nice buildings in like the 70s. This was the thing that happened before the building protection laws. And when I visited the city, it was along with a local. So it was fun to find out about these things that we call the podres in Portuguese, which basically means the hidden, not so good things that people generally don't talk about, and you can find out through the locals. So yeah, there's a few of this. The surrounding area of Viseu is also very interesting and can be even more affordable. It's not that hard to stay under 1,000 euros per square meter when purchasing properties in the surrounding. It will definitely be a more rural landscape. And to give you an example, there is this little village about half an hour drive, 20 minutes maybe, from Viseu, where you have the Linen Museum. And it's a great example of what a typical Portuguese village looked like, and there's a lot of them around the area. And it's just a very peaceful, green, rural landscape with a lot of stone houses and old houses. You do see some new modern construction splintering around every now and again, but it's definitely not the majority of it. I didn't notice a lot of new construction happening. There is some, but I do believe that the city will keep growing, because I do believe that green areas are definitely very valued, and the access to these cities are good, especially for a city in the north, and it's still extremely affordable. So it can be a very, very interesting city from a investment perspective for those of you looking to buy something at an affordable rate and have it gain equity. So this is definitely a good example of a city that it's very, very likely to grow in value because it's still extremely affordable. There is also some other very interesting areas around the Viseu area, like the hot springs of, it's not Pedras Salgadas. There's a hot spring area about half an hour drive from Viseu too, so that's also an interesting positive side to that location. And there's a lot of green forest and mountain landscape around it too. So overall, the city has a bit of everything. It has universities, it has schools, it has cultural events, it has great parks. It's definitely a very pleasant, affordable area to live in, that it's still pretty much under the radar. So it's definitely something that if you are considering an affordable, more quiet location in Portugal, it can be a great place. And if you stay more or less in the city center, you basically can live and there's everything you need around you. The only downside is that the public transportation is not the best, but it's still possible to get around with buses and some train connections. But overall, it is great, a great choice of an investment location that it's likely to grow in value. The city of Viseu also seems to be very pet friendly. There was also one of the parks had a dog park with some play areas for dogs and their owners. And another of the parks had a bunch of peacocks on the loose that at the time I went there, it was probably near reproductive season, because they were very, very keen on showing off their little feathers and were actually showing off to the doves. So that part was quite funny. So yes, I would say that Viseu is a very interesting location to visit and also to live in, and definitely to invest in. So if it's not a location that you've considered before, definitely take a look at it. And for those of you who don't know, Savvy Cat definitely helps you with all of that. We will help you scout the best neighborhood, do all the negotiation, do the property verification, both from a legal perspective and from a technical perspective, and also help you with bank documentation, if numbers, and other things you may need in order to get settled in our beautiful country. And if this makes sense to you, feel free to check our website in www.savvycatrealty.com. We work with both rentals and purchases and have our information all very transparently listed in our website. And we also have a lot of free information in our blog that can be very useful for people that are considering moving to this country. So feel free to take a look at it. And of course, if you found this useful, like and subscribe. We are launch a new video every week with useful information about Portugal and about living or moving to Portugal. And I hope to hear your feedback about Viseu if you already visited. So I will be looking forward to seeing your comments and seeing you all next week. Bye.